Hey everyone, welcome to today's video where we're going to talk to you just briefly about the importance of sodium for human health. The context here is that we're talking about the role of sodium within a mostly whole foods diet, one that will be higher in potassium and relatively low in sodium from the whole foods. Obviously, if you're eating a diet of mostly processed foods, you're going to be having a lot of sodium in your diet with very little potassium.
This question came from several people that I know are on whole foods diets primarily. So
yeah, and so we'll be discussing in the next episode the relationship between sodium and potassium, but for now we just kind of wanted to overview why it's important to basically add salt, which is sodium bound to a chloride molecule. Yep. Why it's important to add salt to your whole foods because they're relatively low in sodium, and sodium and chloride play such essential roles in our health. So, yeah. Where do you want to start?
What's the difference between sodium and chloride then?
Well, sodium is an cation and chloride is an anion, and they bind together. No, it's two different elements that play different roles in the body. When you eat salt, you are breaking the sodium and the chloride bond, and then you're absorbing the sodium and the chloride atoms. They play different roles in the body. For example, both play roles in fluid balance around cells.
Muscle contraction.
Muscle contractions. Chloride's obviously important for the hydrochloric acid in your stomach.
Yeah, so that's something that a lot of people, they're like, well, I'm getting enough sodium in chronometer. And I'm like, well, you're not getting any chloride.
Yeah, sodium.
Your stomach acid isn't going to be working. Your digestion is going to suck.
Yeah, sodium is present in whole foods, albeit in low amounts, but it's definitely more abundant than chloride is in whole foods. So you're going to be even lower on chloride than you are on sodium if you eat a whole foods diet. And that's going to impair your digestion.
Yeah, I've seen people, I've had clients though they're supplementing with like baking soda and eating like whole foods, and they're like, I get enough sodium. I'm like, well, you need to add some like sodium chloride in there.
Yeah, you need some chloride
to be optimal. Anyways.
I mean, although there is controversy over how much sodium and salt has existed in the human diet through evolutionary history, what we can say is that our humans definitely sought out salt, sodium chloride, and consumed it when they could.
Oh, it's very highly valued.
Yeah.
And traded.
Just like other animals. Animals go out of their way to find salt rocks and lick
salt
them.
licks.
Yeah.
Anyone that has had horses, or my goat.
Or your goat.
Yeah.
Oh,
my goat, not my neighbor's ate.
That's a story for another time. Anyway, so sodium's important for nerve function, muscle contractions, and the absorption of nutrients like glucose. They are called...
You say neurotransmitter transmission too.
Yeah. Or no, I didn't, but you just did. So we're on track. But yeah, there are things called sodium transporters in your intestinal cells, and that you need to have a sodium atom go through them at the same time as glucose in order to absorb it. And so that's one of the ways they help digestion.
Yeah. What about salt and blood sugar control?
Same idea. It can help increase the ability of insulin to bind to cells to help glucose get into them.
And a low sodium diet increases insulin resistance.
Where insulin can't get its signal through. And we see that in clinical studies.
Yeah.
What are some other cool things that sodium and salt do?
Sodium is a mild antihistamine.
Oh, okay. So it can
and
help
that's shown in studies with asthma.
So basically people that have allergic reactions, it can help with them. Or people not allergic reactions per se, but what's the word I'm looking for?
High histamine. I would assess, like, if someone has like hay fever all year round, which I have before when I was on a whole food diet and wasn't eating salt.
Or bad dust mite allergies like me.
Yeah, just add some salt and see if it helps. Now, some people go a little crazy, like especially in the repeat crowd, and they eat like tablespoons of salt. I would say like 1 or 2 teaspoons added a day is a good amount.
Yeah, 1 to 2 teaspoons would be 5 to 10 grams of salt. That would be just 2.5 to 5 grams of sodium, because salt is roughly half sodium for easy math.
Yeah, sodium also helps with sleep quality. Like if you have an issue waking up in the middle of the night, that is because it helps regulate our stress hormones.
Yeah, like cortisol, adrenaline.
Yeah, and that's shown in studies too.
Is this why some people, before they go to bed, they'll have a little like honey with some salt?
Yeah.
Because the combined glucose and the sodium help reduce the stress response they might experience.
It lowers
too in the
sodium.
morning.
Yeah, sodium lowers adrenaline through aldosterone, and that's a little more complicated than I want to get into. And then the sugars lower cortisol.
Okay.
But low salt diets also lead to high cortisol. So.
Okay, and then that could also impair thyroid, to kind of jump over to another one. So eating enough salt's important to
because stress hormones block thyroid function.
Yeah, and so by eating adequate amounts of salt, you maintain a proper metabolic rate and everything else that thyroid's
important. Well, and sodium increases thermogenesis too, so that also increases your metabolic rate. So if you want to be, I know the person that asked this, Kate, you love fitness and being fit, increase your sodium. Well, like it's important.
I want to also jump back to, we had mentioned that's important for digestion. By helping regulate thyroid function, because one of the biggest contributors to like reduced intestinal motility and bloating is low thyroid function. And so by eating enough salt and helping reduce stress hormones and the blocking of thyroid function, you're also going to indirectly benefit your digestion in that way. Yep,
I agree with that.
So is there anything else that you want to touch on about salt?
Not really.
No? Okay.
I think that covers everything. If I didn't cover anything, just ask him the questions.
Yeah. So if you're eating a mostly whole foods diet, just add 1 to 2 teaspoons of regular table salt to your diet every day, because it's important. And no, it's not going to hurt you at all.
Yeah, I've never seen it lead to hypertension.
Well, it doesn't. It doesn't. We have clinical studies, showing that eating a high salt diet does not cause high blood pressure. No. Although in people who have idiopathic high blood pressure or like essential hypertension, which the cause is unknown, it can exacerbate. And so there are definitely populations that need to be more concerned with how much salt they're eating.
Yeah, but I've actually, I've reviewed a lot of labs, and I've never seen someone with high blood pressure that's on, like, a high potassium diet.
Exactly, and we'll be talking about the role of potassium in the next video.
Yep.
So, anyway, if this helped you, then awesome. And if you know anyone who you think the information in this video would help, then please share it with them.